All right, welcome everyone. I'm Jean-Pierre Dodel, or JP, Principal Product Manager for Amazon Kendra. And today we're going to talk about getting the most out of your data with ML-powered search. And to add some real-world perspective on this conversation today, we're excited to have two guest customers today. Hemant Modi, Senior Director of Product Management at Qualtrics, and Jomo Stark, Senior Director of Innovation at Orion Health, who will share their experience and insights with Qendra. All right, so let's get started. So when we talk about ML-powered search, we're really talking about smarter, more intelligent search here. But in order to define this concept, let's start first by defining what the problem is. And it's no small problem. I mean, this is a massive challenge that 80% of the data in the enterprise is unstructured today. So this is your documents, your help websites, manuals, PDFs, all that stuff that's being generated at an exponential rate today is unstructured. And when we talk to our customers about their experience with conventional search technologies that they use today to search through that, we hear a lot of frustration from them. And this ranges across the board. So inaccurate keyword search when they're trying to find answers in that content, complex implementations and lengthy implementations, a lot of manual tuning to try to get that relevance right, and a lot of ongoing maintenance. A lot of frustration. So how does Amazon Qendra address these challenges with intelligent search? So we broke down that problem into these two areas. The first one is addressing the accuracy, right? We wanted to make sure that we made it easy to find what you are looking for. So in order to address that, we have four main pillars in there that we focused on. The first, we wanted to support natural language queries. This makes it a lot more intuitive for searchers to find their content, ask more specific questions. It's just more intuitive overall. But in order to support that, we needed to create an engine from the ground up that leveraged state-of-the-art natural language understanding and machine learning in order to understand the nuance of language and find those answers. And that's why we created three major models underneath the covers that address and find answers in different ways. The first one is these instant answers. It's this ability to actually find answers when you ask questions. So this is the question answering experience that we'll show you with Qendra. The second one is if you have FAQs in your enterprise and you're curating those, we have a dedicated model for FAQ matching where we find the best matching question to give you the curated answer back. And we also have document ranking, semantic document ranking. So a deep learning model that just tackles that particular task of giving you documents back. And the combination of those three models gives you a pretty unique experience. The third piece that was really important for this experience is we wanted to make sure that Qendra had broad domain expertise so that it would have high accuracy out of the box without tuning. So we pre-trained it on 14 domains, including healthcare, life sciences, financial services, legal, marketing, energy, et cetera. And then the fourth component for accuracy is we wanted to make sure that Qendra had a way to improve its accuracy over time automatically. So we have out of the box a feature called incremental learning that looks at the user feedback and the user interaction with the engine to self-adjust and self-correct its relevance based on those trends. So having addressed that first accuracy or making it easy to find the information, the second challenge we wanted to address is this complexity of implementation. So in order to do that, we focused on creating key accelerators. The first one is making it easier for customers to just ingest all that content from all those pockets of knowledge in the enterprise. So we focused on creating connectors and also partnering so that other trusted partners could bring their connectors as well. So making it easy for customers to aggregate this content was really primary goal for us. The second piece of an accelerator is as this content is flowing into Qendra, wanted to provide a mechanism for customers to be able to augment that content or pre-process that content, whether it's transcribing or OCRing or whatever you want to do to that content as it's flowing in. We have a mechanism in there to easily pre-process this content before it gets into the index. And the third important one is we want to provide a mechanism or a tool to create fully functional applications without any coding necessary there. And we'll show you an example of that. And of course, the third element here for the service is security. All of the data that's pulled from your repositories is encrypted in transit and at rest. And we also provide token-based access control so that when users are searching, we know who that person is, we know what access rights they have, and we can filter the search results based on their access rights. And of course, we have an integration with IAM Identity Center to integrate with your identity providers to provide single sign-on so that all of that experience is secure. So talking about these connectors, these are some of the key connectors that we offer out of the box with Qendra. So you can see it spans across a wide range of vendors. And we build the connectors that our customers tell us to build, that they need the most. So you can see it's across the board, from SharePoint to Confluence, Alfresco, Box, et cetera. And in partnership with some experts out there that have developed also other connectors, we have over 100 connectors available in our connector library today. So what does intelligent search really feel like or look like? Well, the answer is pretty simple. I mean, your end users really want accurate answers faster. That's really what it is. They want to go back to what they were doing. Finding information should not be a difficult task. So if you compare the traditional experience on the left, where if I'm a new employee, I'm looking for the IT support desk, and I type in those keywords in there, this is actually a screenshot from our own previous internal search where you would get keyword matching and a list of documents that tried to come up with the documents that had those keywords without really understanding what that question was about, that you were looking for a location or where that IT support desk was. Compare that with the right-hand side with intelligent search, where you can actually say, where is the IT support desk? And we understand the meaning of that question, and we can respond with a location, first floor, that was extracted from a totally unstructured piece of content, the HTML page actually in this case, and we provide a little bit of a snippet or the passage where it was extracted from right underneath with a link to the document. And some FAQs. If you have FAQs, we would display FAQs there, those that are highly confident for that query. A totally different experience. You get your answer, you go back to what you were doing. You don't have to click through documents. So looking a little bit deeper into that experience, I talked about 3 major models before, and this is how the experience is delivered to your end users. That first floor answer is provided by the instant answers model, or this is the reading comprehension model that can extract words, phrase, sentences, passages from any unstructured piece of text that you have. And then underneath that we call this the Kendra suggested answer or the instant answer. Underneath that, if you have FAQs, the FAQ matching model will display the high confidence answers so that you can have a complement to that extracted answer. And if you don't have an extracted answer at the top, if Qendra is not confident enough because the content is not there, then you would not see that box. But basically, if you have FAQs, we would display them, and and at the bottom are the most relevant documents for that search. So you can see how we go from very specific to document level to bring this rich experience to the end user. Now, Qendra, like I said before, has really high accuracy out of the box without tuning because of this pre-training and the massive models that are powering it. But if you wanted to tune your relevance, there's 2 options here. The first one, the incremental learning feature that comes out of the box with Qendra. Basically, what it does is that it takes all the thumbs up and down and the click-through data. So as users search and click through documents, all that data is fed back to Qendra so that it can promote documents to the top that are preferred by the end users. And the other approach, that's completely automatic, and there's no machine learning expertise needed there. And the second approach is to actually, we give customers the ability to provide more fine-tuning, more fine-grained control and influence over that relevance ranking algorithm. And to do that, we provide some sliders. So let's say you have SharePoint repositories, Confluence, file shares, and others, and your SharePoint repositories happen to have more authoritative data, then you can very easily, with these sliders, say, well, my SharePoint content, I want you to weigh that a little bit higher than my wikis, for example, or file shares. So we provide a very simple mechanism to boost content in this way based on data source or a particular author or document freshness. The more recent the document, the more relevant, if that's applicable, and other criteria. And you can do this at the index level so that everybody benefits from these rules, or you could do it more based on the context. So if you have an engineer logging in and searching, you may want to boost more GitHub or documentation type content versus more general sales or HR-related content, and vice versa. You could do that at query time. And of course, you can import also your custom synonyms to expand Kendra's understanding of your own vocabulary in your business. In terms of top use cases, how customers are using Qendra today, so the first one is focused on the employee experience, right? So this is creating an enterprise-wide search application that searches across all of your repositories, creating a single point of search. That's one approach to that. Others will create department-specific search applications for HR portal or an R&D portal that searches through very highly technical information for engineering work, et cetera. You can divide and conquer, or you can create a single search experience with Qendra. The second category is more outward-facing. It's more of the transforming that customer experience. So this is basically improving the call center agent assist workflow, right? So that they can actually attend and serve their end customers, the callers, more efficiently, quicker, reduce that call time. But it's also to power self-service virtual agents or chatbots. Chatbots are typically configured to handle specific intents, but when they don't recognize that intent, they can actually call Qendra, that has this enlarged capability to answer any question against your unstructured content. And you can also, of course, replace your current engine in your regular website search with intelligent search as well to change that self-service experience for your customers. The third use case here, and before I go into that one, this is where Qualtrics will actually share some insights there, where they've integrated Qendra and Slack to streamline their support workflow and other components they have. So very interesting story there. And then that third use case is embedded search. So this is ISVs and SaaS applications who want to improve their overall core product offering by replacing that search solution they have there with intelligent search. And this is where Orion Health will share their experience and what they've done there with Qendra to improve that core offering. So what does it take to get Qendra up and running? So it's basically a three-step process. You start with ingesting your content. So you can see on the left-hand side, step one is data ingestion. This is where you configure your connectors to your repositories. And if you don't find one of the connectors there out of the 100 that we have there, we have a custom data source connector API that you can use to push your own content out of your own homegrown data sources into Qendra as well. And as that content flows into Qendra, and by the way, these connectors you can schedule so that they automatically synchronize with your repositories and updates the index accordingly. So as this data is flowing through the ingestion, there is a feature here that we call custom document enrichment, which is right here, this, and on that side, right here. Well, not bad. Basically, that allows you to pre-process the content as it flows in. So let's say you have a lot of PDFs with scanned images, or you have video content, audio content. You can call external services through this feature so that, in this case, Amazon Textract will OCR any scanned images in your PDFs or documents. Amazon Transcribe can actually do the transcription from audio and video. Amazon Comprehend could do entity extraction, right? If you want to pull out people names, company names, locations, et cetera, or your own classification as well. If you want to classify the content, you could call these external services to augment that content as it flows in. So once you've enriched the content, which is optional, you don't have to do it, but it's there for you. Once you've gone through that stage, you arrive at stage 2 here, where your content is readily available for searching. You can optimize this. So like we said before, you have incremental learning that's available, and you can also adjust relevance tuning if you want to fine-tune that to reflect specific weighing of data sources. And then you have your custom synonyms to let Qendra learn more about your particular vocabulary. Once you've optimized this, then you can deploy this to your website, to your self-service chatbots, like we said before, or a contact center integration, or a SaaS solution. And Qendra is implementable via the APIs. So all the functionality that you see in the Qendra console is available via APIs. But also, we provide this low-code, no-code UI builder to create a fully functional search experience. And we also offer some search components that you can grab and piecemeal into your own framework if you want to. So we offer different options there. All right, in talking about this experience builder, this is the feature that allows you to build these fully functional search experiences very quickly, right, without writing any code. In the console, in the Qendra console, you can create a new experience, and you can configure that experience by selecting which widgets you want on your search experience, the search box, the instant answer box. You can configure what it looks like, what metadata is in there. So you can really customize this to quickly launch, and then you can integrate it with your IDP and your access control so that this is secured for your end users. And it's fully managed, so you don't have to create an EC2 instance and drop anything in there. You just create the experience and you can share it with your users. Another important feature that we have in Qendra is the analytics dashboard. And this is really critical to understand key quality and usability metrics. It's basically to understand what are people searching for? Where is it working well? Where is it not working well? How many searches am I getting that are generating 0 results, right? So this may be an opportunity to add more content if you're seeing people searching for things that they're not finding at all. What are the most popular documents that are being clicked on, right? And associating that with some of the confidence that we see here. So it's a very rich reporting tool that allows you to look at different time periods to understand the patterns and the trends there. All right, so to kind of give you a wrap-up of the value proposition of intelligent search, there's 2 main things here. The first reason is it's increased employee productivity and customer satisfaction, because when you're basically presenting better answers, quicker answers that are accurate to your end users, it's time savings, right? They're not spending as much time looking for that piece of content or answer. And it's also cost savings because by making it faster, call centers can actually reduce the duration of calls and realize those benefits as well there. And in addition to that, if you have an application, a search application linked to any kind of regulatory compliance goal, then you're mitigating your risk there by offering a more intelligent search that gives you the right answers. The other category is that it's a lower total cost of ownership with Qendra because it offers so much out of the box that you don't have to build, right? So it's a fully ML-powered search service. So creating your own intelligent semantic search solution is really not trivial. So it comes out of the box, and it's fully managed service. You don't have to manage clusters. You don't have to manage models. There's no machine learning expertise required here. So you can have a team, a pretty lean team of people just focusing on business goals and building the application. We have built-in connectors to popular repositories like we saw before. So that allows you to really go quickly in aggregating that content, making it searchable without developing complex ETL jobs. And then the last one is the built-in search experience builder that allows you to very quickly create a fully functional search UI that's fully secured for your end users. So now what I want to do is I wanted to actually show you a few examples of Qendra's out-of-the-box accuracy across a few domains, so you can kind of get an idea of how it performs without any tuning. And the first example is we took a data set of about 40,000 highly technical medical documents that were created during the COVID-19 research stages for vaccine, et cetera. And we just indexed that content, and we just tried a few queries there. And if you ask the question, for example, when did COVID-19 start, an example of the answer in that content is that you can see that the Qendra returns the first clinical trials, gives you a bolded, you see December 10, 2019. That bolded element was added by the search response to tell you this is a predicted answer to your question, right? The text doesn't have all that stuff bolded. It's just leading your eye to the answer, and you're done. You're not clicking through documents to find a date. Another example with the same data set here, but this is way more technical, more specific, is if you have a technical team of folks doing research, just goes to show you, how accurate it can be. We can ask the question, when is the salivary viral load highest for COVID-19? That's a mouthful. But basically, Qendra, you can see the answer is provided in the first sentence, right? It's highest during the first week after symptom onset. And we compare that with the NIH website, and you can run them there if you want to, and you can see how the answers are coming back. Obviously, they have a conventional search engine there, keyword-based. And you see some of these answers up here seem to be relevant. They talk about viral load, but you don't have an answer, and those documents may not have the answer specific to when is the highest. So you'll be clicking through documents looking for answers, and you may not find it there. Similar with web search, we type in the same question there, and we got some relevant documents back, but again, no specific answer. You still have to click on documents to find the answer. This is an example with Wikidata this time, different data set. Again, no tuning. This is Wikidata on drugs and their dosages and side effects, et cetera. And if you type in paracetamol adult dose, it prominently displays an answer 3 to 4 grams because it's very confident that this is the right answer for you, and it displays there in the answer. Switching to a different domain here, this is financial data. So we took some publicly available content on financial information, and we just wanted to try out some questions about inflation. And so here we just typed in inflation rate, which is not even a fully formed natural language query like what is the inflation rate, but Qendra understands the meaning of the question. It's not doing a keyword search. It's actually predicting 5.1%. It's telling you right there that it is 5.1%. So it's answering the question and giving you a passage that's the most relevant for that particular answer, right? Now, if I want to be more specific, inflation rate in Sri Lanka, here, Qendra feels more confident about the answer because it doesn't have to assume that it's in the US. You're telling it where, and therefore it's more confident in giving you that prominent answer, 54.6%, because now this query is more specific and gives you the answer with the passage where that answer was pulled from, with the link to the document, and you're done. You're not clicking through documents again. This is an interesting example on financial data again, but if you try running a query like this on a website that uses conventional search technologies that are keyword-based, the default behavior is to actually, for them to remove any extraneous words from the query and the content, like the word what, the, a, or, and things like that are actually removed from the query. They're called stop words because they just want to focus on the key terms here, which is CPI, and you end up with a query that just looks for CPI anywhere, and you get a long list again of documents. Whereas here, Qendra understands the nuance of language. It knows you want to know the definition of what CPI is, and it gives you the answer, consumer price index. So this is key also to help people understand context and the engine to understand what you mean with your query. All right, my last example here is searching through transcripts, video transcripts, searching through media. So in this case, what we did is we took some videos from the internet, and we transcribe the videos so that we can index it into Qendra and see what kind of answers we can pull from that. So here, what I did is I basically, I want to ask, for example, what is the effect of oil prices on supply chain? And I want to know if it can find an answer in the transcript and see how then I can jump to the video to actually listen to the answer. So let's look at this pre-recorded example here. So here, I'm going to actually click and enter the query. Effects on oil prices on supply chain. And we see that Qendra brings back the answer, talking about food prices and oil and supply chain, but I can jump directly on the video. I have a deep link there because I know where the answer is. And let's click on that and listen to it.
This has consequences for supermarket shoppers who have already seen food prices increase 7% since around this time last year. Much of that increase can be linked to the cost of getting food from the farm to shelves. The same can be said for any other product that is moved by ship, train, or truck.
Oil is one of those commodities that really feeds into every part of the supply chain and therefore impacts the inflation.
All right, so that wraps up my examples, showing you a wide range of queries on a wide range of domains without any tuning. And to continue our conversation with intelligent search, I'd like to welcome our first guest customer, Hemant Modi, who will talk about his experience with Qendra.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Jean-Pierre. My name is Hemant Modi, and I'm the head of real-time programs at Qualtrics. And I'm super excited to be here today to share a story about Qualtrics Qendra. So who is Qualtrics? We created the experience management category, and we are the leaders in this space. We're a public company with over 5,000 employees globally. And what we do is we help companies provide great human experiences. We want to make every interaction an experience that matters. And how we do this is on the Qualtrics XM platform, which enables companies to collect, understand, and take action on both unstructured and structured data. In fact, 85% of customer feedback is unstructured data, and it comes from sources like chat and voice calls, which are predominant channels in the contact center space. We know the contact center is an experience that is critical for every business. So according to the Qualtrics XM Institute, after a bad experience, 34% of customers will decrease their spending with that brand. And 19% of those customers will actually stop spending with that brand. A quick show of hands for those who've had a bad experience talking to a customer service agent. Well, the other side of this is that it's a difficult job for the contact center agent to listen to random questions from customers all day long in a stressful environment. That's why Qualtrics wants to invest in the contact center's agent experience and workflow space to help reduce costs, to boost agent productivity, and to drive customer satisfaction and brand loyalty. And we are committed to doing this by developing a recommendation engine that is specific to real-time agent assist solutions. We decide to do this with context-aware, relevant recommendations that are based on agent coaching behavior models and knowledge-based sources. And that is the focus of the discussion today. So why did we choose Amazon Qendra, and what are the key features? Well, out of the box, it supports keyword-based searches and natural language queries. This provides us specific answers to natural language questions by extracting relevant text from the source documents. It also learns relevance over time based on things like source, author, and document freshness. This relevance can be tuned on things like the results of the agent who are talking over the phone and learning over time based on this usage. As well, it keeps track of analytics to see the quality of search results and also identify gaps in content. Furthermore, the extensive library of first-party and third-party data source connectors is also a key feature we were interested in. So what are the benefits of Amazon Qendra? First of all, it allows us to kick the tires very easily. We are able to deploy a proof of concept very quickly. Next, it's a huge time savings for us. Otherwise, we would be investing in a multi-year project to build indices and NLP query engines from scratch. With the first-party data source connectors that are available, the Qualtrics development team is able to spend time on NLP problems instead of building custom scripts. It also features built-in operational dashboards for configuration, monitoring, and troubleshooting. As well, it handles secure customer private data. And of course, Qendra with a K rhymes with Kendra with a Q. So our first application of Qendra with production users was with a developer project called Wan-shi-tong, or WST. And this is a Slack channel that was developed for our Qualtrics support reps. On the left, you see the Slack interface with the different channels, and in this one, the agent has subscribed to Wan-shi-tong CUNY. And then the agent is able to use a keyword trigger such as WST, and then type in their search query, which is change default survey options. This is sent to Qendra, which responds back instantaneously with recommended list of relevant articles. So how does this all work? What is the high-level architecture? So first of all, we have the agent who subscribes to the Wan-shi-tong CUNY channel in their Slack interface. They type in a search query, which is then sent to the Qualtrics recommendation engine, then analyzes the search query, applies NLP, and sends that on to Amazon Qendra. Now, Amazon Qendra has ingested content sources from the Qualtrics support website, Slack channels, and various Google Drive documents. And it responds back with the most relevant list of knowledge base articles. That list of articles is sent back to the Qualtrics recommendation engine, which then in turn sends it back to the Slack interface which the agent is using. Our next application was sending transcriptions of real-time audio from the contact center to Qendra NLP to process and return knowledge base relevant articles. So let's step through how this all works. On the bottom, we have the customer contact center infrastructure, and on the top, we have the Qualtrics AWS cloud. So first, we have the audio transcribed from the contact center and brought in the real-time audio stream into this audio connector here in the Qualtrics AWS cloud. This is sent to a transcription engine, such as Amazon Transcribe. That transcript is sent to the Qualtrics NLP engine for enrichment, and that analyzed transcript is then sent to the recommendation engine. As I spoke about earlier, this is then the search query sent to Amazon Qendra, which looks up the various different customer data sources, and that responds back the relevant list of knowledge base articles. And then we have the recommendation engine that interfaces to the notification API, which then delivers those recommended articles to the agent desktop. Let's watch a demo to see this all in action.
Thank you for calling Qualtrics support. My name is Mike. Mr. Smith, I see that you chatted with us recently in relation to a survey problem.
Well, I'm calling regarding a support ticket ending in 94113. My survey issue is still unresolved.
Mr. Smith, can you verify your account number for me, please?
Yes, it's 703206.
Got it. And what is your issue?
The problem is, every time I add a question, my survey flow disappears. It's very frustrating that it's still not working. At this point, my boss has gotten involved. I really need to get this fixed.
Mr. Smith, I'm really sorry that you're experiencing this survey issue. Let me check on this.
So what you see is Kendra's returned back various articles from content sources. In this case, the Slack channel, and identified the search survey flow.
So what I see is this is a known issue. We may have a fix, but I'm not sure.
I see. I'm really on a time crunch here. Is there anything we can do?
Let me check one more thing. May I place you on hold for a moment?
Sure.
So now the agent will type in a directed search renaming the survey. And this links
Okay,
out.
it's a known bug and I will follow up with engineering. In the meanwhile, you can rename the survey to force it to resync and restore your survey flow. I will put a note in the support ticket 94113 and email you these workaround instructions.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan. Thanks, you've been very helpful explaining all of this to me today.
No problem. Glad we could help. Have a great day.
Thanks, bye.
And this is our version of automated call summary, which summarizes the conversation that was held. with the agent and customer. Okay, so we found that AWS were great partners to work with, where they really understood our concerns. We had a tight collaboration in understanding Qendra and implementing Qendra. They also listened to our feedback and prioritized the first-party data sources connectors that were going to be added to the product. When we conducted our first initial pilot of the real-time agent assist solution from Qualtrics, we found that there was an increase in the initial ticket resolution by the agents who were part of the pilot versus the ones who were not part of the pilot. Also, we saw an increase in the ticket volume that was handled by the agents that were in the pilot. Our Qualtrics customer service reps were very impressed and super excited to use this real-time agent assist product. They felt very empowered. Even one of them said, "This tool is a game changer and it has a very intuitive interface." So what's next? The roadmap for us for implementing more Qendra features. We're investigating the use of Amazon Qendra with the first-party Slack connector. Since when we first implemented this, we had to use our custom scripts. Now we want to replace them with added functionality and remove the burden from our development teams to support custom scripts. We're also exploring the use of the tuning functionality with integrated feedback APIs. And then we want to extend the Qualtrics contact center tech stack with additional complementary support services from Amazon, such as Amazon Transcribe and Amazon Connect. And of course, we will need to support growth and scale as we add more customers with more knowledge-based content, and we need to make sure that that content is separated across each customer. My name is Hemant Modi. I want to thank you for your time today. Hopefully you understood the value of Qualtrics' venture into optimizing the contact center agent workflow.
Great job. All right, thank you, Hemant, for those insights and sharing your story. And now I'd like to welcome our second guest customer. Let me see here. I have there we go. Jomo Stark from Orion Health, who's going to share his experience with Qendra.
Thanks, JP. Okay. Great to be here. Jomo Stark, Orion Health. Very, very excited to be here. So Orion Health, we are truly trying to reimagine healthcare for all. That is our mission. Who are we? About 110 million patient records are accessed pretty frequently throughout our customer base. We're 100% healthcare focused. Been in the industry for about 30 years, exclusively healthcare. Customers in 15 countries, including 10 US states. And the implementation I'm going to talk about here today is not quite public yet, but we believe it's going to be one of the world's largest consumer-facing digital front doors. It's a province in Canada. And we are very much a software development firm. We've invested almost $345 million into the process. Half of our employees are software developers. So what's a digital front door to us? It's a consumer engagement platform, and it's truly a platform, right? So we've got our technology, we use third-party technologies, best of breed, and we did this to meet our customers' needs. So it integrates data and tools and services to provide a cohesive end-to-end social resource and health resource navigation environment. Benefits. Goal, improve consumer experience. So if you need care in this DFD, you dial 811 or you go to a website. And this website is powered by the Orion digital front door. Faster, more efficient access to healthcare, including the Qendra search that we're going to talk about that we've built in as a core of our platform. We've got a symptom checker. We've got access to telehealth. There's a chat that connects to a 24-hour nurse center. And the goal really being to get people out of the ER and get them the information they need, and quickly get them to the ER in front of a nurse if they do need that. And all of this, ideally, will make better use of resources, and a lot of those measures are going to come out shortly. First phase of this went live in June. Second phase went live in October. So we're going to measure all of this, and we'll talk about that in a second. Maximize the value of existing technologies. This is critical, right? You're not going to want to come in and tell people they need to rip everything out and replace it with a bunch of new things. They're going to have some pieces they like. They're going to have some pieces they don't. And often they're going to want to do a migration over time, right? They're going to want to roll some pieces out, make sure it works, add pieces later. And really, the goal is to simplify healthcare transactions, right? Really make it easy for folks to get to the information they need quickly, regardless of their computer savvy or their web savvy, right? And lastly, but certainly not least, is really the goal is to address gaps in health equity, right? This is really democratizing the delivery of care and getting the care to the people that need it. I mean, we still have healthcare deserts, right? We still have folks with low access to computers and mobile technologies. And so one of the big goals with all of this is to improve that. So what problems are we solving? Patients have many organizations to deal with. I mean, so if we're talking about the US, there is no central payer. There is no single payer. There's a myriad of health organizations and hospitals and clinics and your insurance, and depending on where you live, it's very different. So it's incredibly complex to try to navigate that. It's still incredibly paper-based, right? I mean, you probably went to a doctor recently and had them, even though you know who you are, they hand you a piece of paper and make you fill it out. It's still an issue, right? And this third bullet, which really addresses the Qendra solution, was don't really know who to trust for curated information. And we'll dive deeper into that. And this last one, waiting for staff to do tasks on behalf of the patient. Getting to the point where people can really do self-service, right? Engage on their own without having to talk to somebody or wait for a call back or wait for a piece of paper or a fax, right? So this is the solution that we see. A unified channel to the many organizations, a unified channel across across providers, across organizations, conceivably across payers, although that gets a little politically challenging. But a single front door for them to get access to all this is ideal. Inefficient paper, digitized processes. We have the technology, right? This isn't something that needs to be invented. It just needs to be deployed and integrated and adopted, right? And then again, this third one, how do you fix this curation issue? Well, you give them access to verified clinical resources. And that's where we started and we knew we needed to do and our client needed to do, and started us down this road with Qendra. And then lastly, offering self-service. The ability to do this on your own without interacting with somebody is incredibly important. So problem number one, too much information. If you do a search for, I have a sore throat on a typical web browser, you're going to get 500 million hits, right? 20 of those may be legitimate sources, right? You might get Mayo and Kaiser and Geisinger, and they're all good, but they're all different, right? And you're going to get some crazy sources too, right? You're going to get some stuff in there from who knows where. It is easy to be led astray by misinformation, poorly planned results. Everybody's done this. It's very, very frustrating to do searches for conditions on a normal search engine. So Qendra searches across a curated set. Our clients can curate their own sets of data across federated websites, documents, other sources, other medical sources, and provide trusted medical advice, and that's critical. Problem number 2 is noise. Again, how do you prioritize and rank the remaining hundreds or thousands of hits that you're going to get and really know what's relevant? And who's to say what's relevant? Right? So by Amazon Qendra, by prioritizing resources from trusted sources, government, health, trusted institutions, above external sources. And it really helps avoid this misinformation and this Dr. Google effect. So why Qendra? Orion is a longtime partner of Qendra. We're a big customer of Qendra. All of our products are Qendra or AWS native. It's a natural progression for us to explore using Qendra as the centerpiece for our new flagship product, this digital front door. And they also offered a really exciting 6-week rapid prototyping. They came to the table with some basic built curated searches, did a fast iterative process, and we had a working prototype in about 6 weeks. Again, enabling people to ask natural language questions at the centerpiece and get them quickly to what they're looking for on a curated fashion, right? The curated web pages, avoiding the noise that you get with a typical search engine, streamlining the searching of information, connecting people with the trustworthy links relevant to their locality. You can do it, and again, it can be by city, it could be by county, it could be by state, right? Be culturally sensitive, right, depending on the audience you're talking about. And they're exploring some of this in Canada. Some pretty exciting things coming out. And again, we love the continuous improvement of the system. The fact that it learns and gets smarter over time is pretty fantastic. And really, from our client's perspective, the Orion brand isn't the brand that they care about. They care about their own brand, right? And so this really needed to bubble to the surface and promote their brand and keep their branding and their colors and their content, keep it trustworthy, keep it relevant, keep it local, and keep it simple. And here are a couple architects talking about it.
How does the intelligent search in Amazon Qendra help with the digital front door?
So that's one of the most interesting parts of DFD. So when we go on Digital Front Door website, we have the search bar. And in that search bar, the user is able to perform search across multiple things like health service organizations, medical conditions, make bookings, and actually search for the health provider that fits them. So in Qendra, we actually have the index that contains a lot of documents. Essentially, there might be millions of documents, and it scales quite well as well. And that Qendra index actually provides APIs, which we expose via API gateways to that Search UI web component.
Cool, and you see millions of documents. I imagine there's a huge amount of data in healthcare. How do you actually index all of that data?
So what we do, we use built-in Qendra web crawler that is able to crawl static resources. That could be static websites, essentially the list of data sources that we validate with clinicians and provide to the index. And then we also have the custom data crawler that we built using Lambda that is able to crawl dynamic resources, pull data out of them. It also uses DynamoDB as a queue, and it loads those documents that it pulls from dynamic resources into S3 bucket. And then from S3 bucket, Qendra seamlessly pulls those documents into the index, processes them, and provides the search results to patients. So one of the cool things about Qendra is also that it's natural language processing search. So whenever you ask a question in the search bar, it will give you the exact answer rather than providing you with keyword-based search result. And that's how it works.
So what's the business impact? With the caveat that we don't have stats yet, although they are shortly forthcoming, they really focus on 2 areas. As I mentioned earlier, this reduced burden on the healthcare system, reduced reliance on the ED as primary care, Right? This is a crisis, particularly in disadvantaged populations, particularly in some urban areas. And so giving people good access to care and information, triaging them quickly, getting them to a nurse on a call center online in a couple minutes, getting them quickly into a telehealth visit or into a physical visit is critical. And then really this online symptom checking is incredibly valuable when paired with the other pieces of this solution. Having that on its own as a standalone isn't terribly useful, but when it's also connected to the patient's care and their record and their physician and potentially their institutions of health, it can be incredibly valuable. And then telehealth support. Again, telehealth exists. How do you insert it into the workflow of a typical consumer or a patient, right? We can measure and treat increased chats, calls, and telehealth engagement for home care, right? Because that's really the goal of all of this, is to keep people at home. And then the other side, it's the improving information to consumers, right? Increased utilization. These are basic measures we have. There have been more than 100,000 visits to this Canadian DFD homepage so far, and they really haven't started promoting it yet. It's really kind of in a pilot. That's going to change shortly. And health engagement, really, they've measured a large increase in visits to this medical library that people weren't really using. So they're actually using it now. Looking forward, we have a long list of upgrades requested by our customer for the next version. There will be many new features being rolled in. I mentioned self-referral. That's a big one. The ability to refer yourself to a mental care specialist or a regular specialist or any number of other things is incredibly valuable. We're looking to integrate Amazon Chime, create real-time video visits, and the ability to do that. And then continuously improve the search by increasing the number of data sources, fine-tuning the relevancy of the sources, improving the accuracy of the results, and then, being able to search video transcripts themselves. So this ability to search unstructured data is huge. And that tied to the natural language piece is really, we think it's a platform for success. Thank you.
Thank you, Jomo, for sharing your journey. All right. So I want to take a few seconds to just share some of the exciting announcements that we had for reInvent. We launched 2 key features that are really exciting. First one is tabular search. And this is the ability now for Qendra to return answers that are embedded in HTML tables. So if you have a table that has, like a credit card comparison table, you can ask questions about which is the credit card with lowest APR, or if you have a specifications table, we can now understand what the table is and be able to pinpoint the data or the answer from the table and return it back to you. I'm going to show you an example of that. And the second is we've expanded our support for semantic search for an additional 7 languages: Spanish, French, German, Portuguese, Japanese, Korean, and Chinese. So customers with content in these languages will now benefit from the full semantic search experience, which is the question answering capabilities, those instant answers that we showed, the FAQ matching, and the semantic document ranking features. So super exciting. And just to show you an example of what tabular search looks like. So here, for example, this is a Wikipedia table that we got from the internet. It has information about companies, their industry, their revenue, a bunch of other information here in a tabular format, in an HTML page. So now when you ingest this kind of data into Qendra, and we wanted to, let's say, ask a question about, what are the companies that have the highest revenue? I want to actually get a list of results from that. Here's what the experience is going to look like now with tabular search. So I just enter my query here, and there's no tuning. You just enter the query. And Qendra now returns actually a preview of the answer by selecting the right rows, the relevant rows. These are the companies with the highest revenue, pulled out from a much larger table. And we display down here also the extracted narrative answer to give you more context. But this is really powerful now because you're able to now interrogate or ask questions on specific tabular content in there and get a rendered results like this that gives you the instant answer right away, but now in a tabular format. So very exciting feature. So now getting started with Qendra, just what we recommend our customers, hey, how do I get started? Well, run a Flash POC just to try for yourself with your own data. Very simple. Number one, you pick a use case like a website search or a document search, and then you determine what questions you'd like to ask. So, some keyword questions or some natural language questions, come up with those, and then you index that content very easily with the web crawler, for example, like they explained there in Orion Health. We have a web crawler right out of the box, or you can drop content into an S3 bucket and just index that. It's very simple to get that indexed, and you're ready to actually query there. Test your queries, run the queries there, and compare the results with your existing search engine if you have one, and if you don't, just run a quick assessment of the quality of those search results with Qendra. And to actually get started, you can go to the link here, Amazon.com, aws.amazon.com/Qendra, and our developer edition offers a free tier of 700 free hours for first-time users. So it's very simple to get up and running and test Qendra with your own data. All right. I want to thank you, everybody, for your attendance today. We hope this session you found this session valuable. And if you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer those off stage here or outside. But again, thank you very much.